On Friday, March the 27th, Dr. Bernie Maria of the Medical University of South Carolina brought a group of his first and second year medical students to Trident Academy to celebrate Brain Day with the students and faculty. Students from 1st grade through 12th grades were given the opportunity to see and touch the human brain and spinal cord specimens. Activities were spread throughout the building as students talked to the first and second year medical students about the brain.
Didn't that used to be green? Like, yeah, isn't that the stuff that's on the back of the brain?
It's the cerebellum.
The memory? Is that like the memory or something?
That's the cerebellum. That helps you with balance.
Oh.
Yeah, the memory's actually deep inside on the side of your
Yeah, because my mom's a psychologist and she said it's like in the back of the brain.
Yeah, kind of back here, way deep inside. You can't look at it.
Look at all these blood. This is make some blood.
They're because your brain has to have oxygen. In fact, it's very important for your brain to have oxygen. Your brain needs oxygen more than any other tissue in your body, pretty much. So your brain can move quickly if you don't have oxygen.
It is? That's a spine?
Spinal cord. So your spine are the bones. Your spine goes around the core. Take messages from your brain to your cells. All the way down the but it's
Very careful with these.
yeah, you have to be very careful with this. In your body, this is so important that if you're in a car or something, you have to be
While the lower school students were asking questions and touching the human brain and spinal cord specimens, a group of middle school students were in the library listening to a presentation by the medical students about the importance of brain safety.
Talking about doing something like wearing a helmet can also do a lot because it's the same sort of idea. It's cushioning. It's not making it so it's this hard impact, which is why wearing helmets is so important when you're, say, riding your bike or skateboarding or whatever it is that you do that you can get hit by a car.
Upper school students listened and interacted as the medical students demonstrated in general terms how a precise circuit of interconnected neurons produces a simple behavior such as reflexes.
So really, when we go and see the brains in a minute, it's going to be this very, also another wrinkly structure, much smaller than the rest of the cortex, but has, I think, about 10 billion neurons within the cerebellum itself. So it is just loaded with neurons. Neurons are really just electrical fiber. Right? They're just carrying signals.
But you can't get brain cells back, can you?
Certain brain cells you can. Right? So like neurons for smell, called olfactory neurons, those regrow. And actually cerebellar neurons can regrow as well. And sometimes they can't regrow, but they can make new connections. So if you do lose connections, you can reform new connections.
Which ones cannot reconnect or regrow?
Well, most of them, yeah. I mean, I'd say about 85 to 90%. So like all in the spinal cord, everybody knows Christopher Reeves, right? Superman, right? He he fell off a horse and basically transected or cut through his spinal cord at a really high level. So all those signals from the brain couldn't get down to his peripheral nervous system, to his legs, to his arms. Okay, so it was just cut off, right? So his brain was basically, right, the motor activity from his brain was cut off from the rest of his body, so he couldn't move. He had paralysis.
But he's still breathing, right? Because his brain's, the cut was underneath his brainstem.
He was wearing a helmet when he fell off the horse, wasn't
I think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
he? Wouldn't have done
For your
anything.
helmets, you only have one of these.
So getting back to this, so talking about the cerebellum really quickly before we head over there. The cerebellum really is the site, so we all know about alcohol, and when you consume alcohol, the cerebellum is one of the primary targets for effective alcohol, okay? And other than the other effects of alcohol, if you have decreased inhibition and kind of a relaxing state, you also lose coordination, okay? That's why you never want to drink and drive, all right? That's we always hear that on TV, and it's very, very important that we never ever drink and drive. And the reason is because the cerebellum is so affected. All right, and the cerebellum, like we talked about, is involved with coordinated activities. So if there are certain individuals who are born with problems with the cerebellum. It's called cerebellar ataxia. Okay, and they'll have problems balance, and they won't be able to stand straight up. All right, they'll be bent forward, bent back. They'll have difficulty walking. And that's kind of similar to what you see when somebody drinks too much. Okay, and the same mechanism is going on. They're called temporary lesions of the cerebellum. Okay, and of course they go away, but the problem is when you're in that state, you have decreased coordination. Okay?
A favorite session with the middle school students was on eye-hand coordination.
Hand-eye coordination. What do y'all know about hand-eye coordination?
Once you're used to doing something, it allows you to do it without thinking much about it.
That's right. That's right. So what senses are they using right now?
Not the eyesight.
So I heard eyesight. What other senses are they using? Color vision. So how are they holding on to their guitars?
Hands.
Their hands. So that means that they're using their touch sense too.
As the medical students talked about the human brain structure, lower school students recreated the brain using modeling clay.
Start with one color that you like, so I started with the frontal lobe here. I just kind of folded it together like this, and then kind of smoothed it out. And then you just kind of keep building like that.
I'm gonna make the cerebellum
Because you have a good cerebellum. Yeah.
But actually, I'm gonna make mine a big body.
Oh wow. Yeah. Oh, cool. Wow.
They call it embedding test at week 7 of the system.
Yeah. Okay.
What is the hypothalamus? What part of your body does that affect? Your what?
That affects your body temperature and how much you eat.
You guys are smart. You know a lot more than I did when I was your age.
Let's see. Next one is the heart.
There you go. You have a good one going.
Yeah, I see you have got yours cerebellum made. And what would make sense to make next? Probably the temporal lobe, you think?
I'm doing the opposite.
Oh, okay. Which affects your vision, right?
Dr. Maria showed students and faculty brain x-rays of interesting case studies.
I think we should remove that little white stuff. What do you think that is? No. Where did you go to medical school, doctor? Concussion. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something right there.
Yeah, it's a big hemorrhage.
Yeah.
And it's pushing on the brain. And if that's not evacuated quickly, the patient will die in an hour.
Students and faculty appreciated the time and opportunity Dr. Maria and his medical students provided Trident Academy on Brain Awareness Day. Here are a few more clips of that interaction.
A bag of fluid called cerebrospinal fluid.
That's the end of the spinal cord just ends as all these nerves. So these nerves are all through your legs.
The left and the right brain are connected to each other by a big piece of tissue called the corpus callosum. See that right there? Feel it. It kind of feels a little bit different than the rest of the brain around it. How does it feel? Does it feel softer or harder than the rest? Yeah, it feels a whole lot harder, doesn't it? That's because it's full of fiber, and the fibrous tissue makes it tougher than the rest of it. One that helps you do movements? That's located right here, right along here. So everything in front of this little line that I'm drawing with my finger, you can kind of see the line just follows the little curves in the brain. Everything in front of this line is motor cortex. So everything up here, just right through here, controls your muscles. Your legs are right here in the middle, and your arms are over here. So if this is a living person, and I poked right there, they'd probably jerk their arm. If I poked them right here, they'd probably kick their leg. And neurosurgeons actually do that whenever they're trying to make sure that they don't cut out the wrong piece of brain.
We would like to thank Dr. Bernard Maria, pediatric neurologist from the Medical University of South Carolina, and his first and second year medical students for making Brain Awareness Day an annual event at Trident Academy.